It's Wrestling on the Spectrum with Brody the Brain Herman. He doesn't just watch wrestling, he decodes it. From the deep history of wrestling to today's matches in the ring and beyond. Get a deeper dive in the world of professional wrestling. And now, here's Patrico, Flying Ryan, and Brody the Brain Herman. This is Wrestling on the Spectrum.
Welcome to Wrestling on the Spectrum. How's everyone doing today? Tony and Ryan, how are y'all doing today?
Oh, man, this is a great time in the world of professional wrestling, and I am incredibly excited to be talking to you guys because not only is there so much going on with the road to WrestleMania, but there's another AEW pay-per-view. I mean, are they on the month-by-month pay-per-view? Because, I mean, dude, it seems like we were just talking about an AEW pay-per-view, and here we are again talking about a big show happening. Brody, I know we've got so much to get into, but I think it would be smart to let's talk about AEW. Let's talk about the upcoming pay, give people something, what they can look forward to.
That's right. It's going to be AEW Dynasty Sunday, April 12th. That's right. That's tomorrow's 12th AEW Dynasty. Get on HBO Max or Amazon Prime. Just buy the pay-per-view on Amazon Prime or HBO Max if you have a subscription there. It is going to be tomorrow, April 12th at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and that is because it is in the Rogers Arena in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, home of the NHL's Vancouver Canucks. It's going to start at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time.
In the world of rankings of these pay-per-views, okay? And Flying Ryan Swingler, good afternoon. You're more of a WWE fan than you are in the world of pay-per-views. If you were going to rank them, where does this live? Where does this live?
I wouldn't call it a tentpole AEW event, but it's an event that AEW is having. Sort of, yes.
It's a premium event, but it's nothing insane is going to happen. But still,
it's still an annual event. I mean, it's their third annual AEW Dynasty.
Okay, perfect. So give me some of the highlights, some of the things that, especially like me, a casual AEW fan, something that I can look forward to this weekend if I check out this pay-per-view.
That's right. So the first match I want to talk about here is the AEW Casino Gauntlet for the vacant AEW TNT Championship. Kyle Fletcher's injured, so they had to vacate the AEW TNT Championship. I think Tommaso Ciampa is going to win this match at the Casino Gauntlet. So I'm looking forward to this, and hopefully they can get Tommaso Ciampa's push back on track.
So what does this do to Kyle Fletcher? Because, you know, we kind of saw a few months back the massive push for Kyle Fletcher. Then it kind of seemed like it went a little bit on the back burner. And it seemed like he was on his way to get some more momentum here. And now this.
How can we miss you if you don't go away? I'm kind of glad that he's out of the picture here.
Okay.
And how can we miss you if you don't go away? So I'm kind of glad for this and push Ciampa to the moon.
Okay. I think that's fine. Do you have any like dark horses that, like, you know, you say Ciampa's going to win this, but do you have any, it wouldn't surprise you, but it might be a stretch if they walk away as
Bruce,
the champion?
maybe. That's just, I know he's in the gauntlet, so maybe he wins it.
What about somebody like Wardlow?
Yeah, that'd be an out of the box answer.
Because he's kind of got a history with the belt.
Certainly
at least,
does.
And, you know, that is somebody that I have always thought should have a rocket on his back.
Absolutely.
Size-wise, I think he's got it when it comes to mic work,
1000%.
personality. So I think this is a good opportunity for somebody like him. Now, who do you think, like, this is the ideal match for a quote-unquote surprise? Who, if there is a surprise, a possibility of a surprise, do you have any guesses as who's that may be, or do you think it could be anybody at this point?
I think it just could be anybody at this point.
Okay, so you say Ciampa's walking away with this one, and my question for you is, okay, what's next for him then? Let's say
you give him a run with the AEW TNT Championship like he should have gotten in the first place.
Yeah. You think this is kind of a makeup?
Yeah,
We dropped the
this is a
ball.
yeah, they dropped the ball. Now they're going to make up for it.
Okay. I listen, I agree with you. And I think that makes sense storyline as well. So I think that would not only continue to build Ciampa, but then again, you always have the opportunity to put him and Fletcher back in the ring and go, okay, he's back. He's challenging for what's his, yada, yada, yada. And I think it does set up a pretty rad match down the road.
Absolutely. And of course, the Young Bucks are going to take on the Don Callis family, Konosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada. Of course, Don Callis is from Canada, so they may receive a babyface reaction. I think the Bucks are going to win it here. I don't see them losing another pay-per-view match back-to-back, so I have the Bucks beating the Don Callis family, Konosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada, but I think the Don Callis family will be well-received considering Callis is from Canada.
Okay, I want a quick answer, all right? I don't want you to have any time.
That's fine.
Who's the better wrestler out of the Young Bucks?
I would say Nick.
Yeah. Why? Just more fine-tuned?
Yeah, whoever faced Bryan Danielson on Dynamite that one night. I don't know if it was Matt or Nick. I couldn't tell you.
Okay, so this match here has a potential to go 1,000 different ways.
I think it'll be quick. I think it's just a quick. Yeah, it's just a quick win for the Bucks. It's lower on the card, no titles on the line, and they keep the momentum going for the Bucks.
What makes this match a stinker in your eyes? If it's too much silly?
Yeah, if it's just too long.
Yeah,
it's too long. That's it.
There's a very healthy balance for a match like this. All these guys in the
ring.
The
only sad part about it is Takeshi's going to have to take the pin, which stinks.
Yeah, but I mean, like all these guys in the ring can do cool stuff. They all have their spots too. You know,
absolutely.
Like they all have their staples. So you go out there, you give them 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You give them 10 minutes. Everybody gets to do their stuff. The finish is something funky, maybe even something silly goes awry. And it does what it does, man.
Right.
This is, again, one of those matches that is meant to entertain. You're not going to get too much advancement here. There's not going to be too much seriousness. This is going to be a fun match.
Exactly.
Yep, I agree with you, and I'm excited to actually check out this.
I think Chris Jericho is returning to Canada, his home country, to face Ricochet. He's coming back. This is his welcome back pay-per-view here. I think Jericho is going to annihilate Ricochet. It is not going to be a close match at all. Big pay-per-view win for Chris Jericho in his home country of Canada. I think Ricochet is going to be severely punished, and he's going to be jobbed out for months. It is going to be an absolute treat.
Here is my question for you. We saw that Chris Jericho has brought back the list.
I love it.
I love it too. It's one of my favorite Jericho personas. I absolutely love it. My question for you is, do you think that this is a snub to WWE because it was the worst kept secret that they were trying to get him to come back, and for whatever reason, a deal could not be reached?
Right.
Do you think that this is Jericho going, nah, I'm going to do everything that people loved over there. I'm doing it over here.
That's fine. And I'm sure it is. And I think I'm glad to see, their fans are glad to see Chris Jericho is back. And he's going to beat Ricochet, which I'm sure Ricochet is not a fan of having to do a job to Chris Jericho on pay-per-view.
I am very curious on your thoughts of Ricochet on social media.
Yeah, he has been he takes it too far and hurts him. I hate to say that. He had a recent social media interaction about somebody with MS, and he just takes it too far. And I'm very concerned about his activity on social media. I think it's going to hurt his push in AEW. I think it already has. And I think he's going to be jobbed out for months. It's going to be his punishment. It's probably going to be an example like with WWE with Triple H in the curtain call, where they kind of punish Ricochet for his social media activity, and he's not going to get pushed to the moon. It's like, oh yeah, you're doing a job to Chris Jericho on pay-per-view. You could tell he was mad on Dynamite for real. Like, oh, I got to do a job to this guy. Seriously, I'm in this spot, but that's kind of where we are.
Yeah, and I think that nowadays there is a very blurry line when it comes to reality and what's a work and what's a shoot.
You don't need to post on social media, Ricochet. You took it too far.
But that's my point. Like, a lot of these things are now heading to social media.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, they're taking it to social media. Now, if your persona is on social media, that's one thing. But when you're posting real life and persona and it gets very muddled, you can either hide behind that mask or you get exposed for it.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what happened with Ricochet. And I think that this might be some sort of a punishment from AEW. But my question is this: as a wrestling fan, is a Jericho Ricochet match? Ricochet is crazy and fit and athletic, and Jericho's on the tail end. are these two styles going to clash?
I think they're going to clash, but it's from the standpoint of, if you're a Ricochet fan, you're not going to like this match. If you're a Jericho fan, you're going to love this match because it's in Canada, and Chris is a smart guy. He's a brilliant mind as a wrestler, and he's like, listen, I'm in my home country. I'm just coming back. I'm not going to lose this match. I got to give him all the classics. Don't give Ricochet too much. And if you're a Jericho fan, you're going to love it, and if you're Ricochet, you're going to hate it.
Who needs? Okay, so do you think that there's any shot that Ricochet wins this match?
Zero. Not only that, we could see Jericho, like the Painmaker Jericho of, oh my God, I'm just going to unleash.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because he's got to come back strong and dominant. He's smart enough to get himself over and to be back in a dominant fashion.
Now, we also have to remember, like you said, this being in Canada, he's got a little bit of a home field advantage.
I'm sure his dad's going to be in the front row like he was on Dynamite, and it's going to be a nice homecoming moment.
Does this over-deliver or under-deliver, or is it exactly what we're expecting?
Exactly what we're expecting.
Really?
Yes.
Ah, man. That's wild. That's wild because maybe this is just the Attitude Era.
Sure.
Growing up in the Attitude Era, I just wanted to see Jericho back in the WWE.
I think we all did as well. I thought a deal was going to get done, and now it's just going to be, I come back to AEW and I beat Ricochet. Okay. And he's going to reestablish himself there and have some dominant wins in the upcoming months and try to reestablish himself is kind of the goal here.
Here's the big question for me, though.
Sure.
Let's say he signed. We don't have any details about what he signed with AEW, right? He could be month to month for all we know. We don't know. Let's say he signed a year deal.
Yes.
That year goes by. Is WWE still interested in Chris Jericho?
I think they're always going to be interested in putting Chris Jericho in the Hall of Fame for what he's done for them.
Yeah.
Do I think here's the problem, and I've said this about Chris. If you go back to WWE, I got to be in tip-top physical shape, and I'm going to be lower on the card, or do I want to be in AEW where I'm going to be a little bit higher on the mid-card, and I don't have to be in tip-top physical shape? I'm going to pick AEW over WWE and still make a lot of money. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And that's why he did it.
Yeah, and I also think that no matter what the reasoning behind Chris Jericho going to WWE, no matter what the plan was for Chris Jericho, I think there was a very, very strong chance that it wouldn't have been as well received as we hoped it would be. Just because of the fact that Chris Jericho comes back, he gets that big initial pop, but then where do you insert him into this card for me to care?
Upper mid-card, probably.
Do you put him against Gunther? And is it the whole
we're talking about WWE's card, probably lower mid-card?
Like, who does he feud with in current everyday WWE?
Nobody. I'm not saying nobody but Gunther. It doesn't matter. He's not in the overall he's not a main eventer.
Yeah.
And I think in his mind, he's like, if I'm going to come back, I want a retirement tour. At least I want to be the upper mid-card.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think right now in the current world of WWE, I don't think he fits in.
No,
so maybe this is a smart choice for him because the plan that was presented to him wasn't up to what he wanted.
Right.
So then it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. If I get a little bit more creative freedom, I get to do a little bit more what I want to do and probably a little bit more money on the upside. He's probably going to do that. So, I'm excited to see this match because this is, again, I know it's kind of a throwaway match. We kind of know what's going to happen, but I'm just excited to see Chris Jericho wrestle.
Me too.
Again.
I'm very excited. And of course, here's another throwaway match. Tekla will defend the AEW Women's Championship against Jamie Hayter. I think Tekla will retain the change here at all. And the AEW Women's Division needs a little more momentum. So,
and my question to you, and I think you kind of already answered it with how you presented this match, was: do we feel like Tekla is a legit top champ right now?
Do I think Tekla's the top champ?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel it. Like, I feel like the women's championship has kind of disappeared. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it has no importance right now.
Right.
When Tony Storm was walking around with the damn thing, I cared about what was going on with it. You know what I mean? But now I don't really feel like it. Like you said, you literally presented it as, here's another throwaway match.
Right.
And again, it comes to the over-belted wrestling world, and this is in both AEW, TNA, WWE, whatever it may be, the over-belted era that we're in right now, where every person and every group and every tag team has to have a belt. Things get lost, and I think this in AEW is one of the main things that have kind of been swept under the rug.
Yes, but I do think a title change will happen in the next match as FTR will defend the AEW Tag Team Championships against Edge and Christian. Edge and Christian are coming back to their home country of Canada, and I think this is the moment where they need to win the AEW Tag Team Championships, a crowning moment for a veteran tag team. People are so excited to give them that one last run as AEW Tag Team Champions, and then put over another tag team on the end. But this is the time to crown them in their home country, Canada. They're going to be very well received. And I'm actually excited for this match. This probably is going to be the best match on the card. I am looking forward to this match. And I think Edge and Christian win this one.
My question to you was, when was the last time that these two as a team held the titles together?
WWE, I would say maybe 2001 or 2.
Isn't that crazy to
It's
think
around
about
there, yeah.
We're almost 20 years past their last title reign.
I mean, if you look at the Dudleys and the Hardys, these guys rank third on resume, but people are still excited to see them reunited again.
Oh yeah, no, listen, I think this is great. And I'll tell you what, Christian, wow. I mean, did you ever think and when it was the ultra top
that he would dress like a
Edge
guy
and
that
Christian.
does a PBS special?
Yeah, so like they're up at the very top. Let's just go back to the
Yeah.
Attitude Era when it was peak, and even the Ruthless Aggression Era where it was peak Edge and Christian.
Sure.
Did you ever think that there was even a possibility? I think everybody said Edge is going to go somewhere and Christian is going to get stuck somewhere, kind of buried.
Absolutely.
But he has made the most out of it, dude.
Yes.
And this current run that he's got in AEW is ruthless, is hilarious, but also I believe it.
Yep.
You know, it's everything. So it doesn't feel forced. It is natural. And I just feel like he is one of the best when it comes to adapting to the times in pro wrestling.
Yes.
And he's showcasing it right
Yep.
now. And I think you're right. I think they get the belts. You give them one more run. And then I think this also kind of resets the tag division because,
agree.
like you said, you now give an opportunity to a young, I think it would be perfect for Edge and Christian to come out after they win the titles. And now they go, hey, we're doing this young champions challenge where at any point
Absolutely.
you could come. If you're a new tag team, you could come and challenge us. And then all of a sudden, I'm just throwing this out there. When our buddy Jake something, when he comes back,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they're back together and they come out and they win the belts. It's like, yes, this is exactly what
I
we
think
want.
you have them carry the belts for at least 6 months.
You give them the belts for a while because, again, they are so entertaining.
They are.
Don't always have to wrestle to still get over.
Exactly.
And you can believe them as champs because when they held the belts in WWE, there were plenty of weeks they never
Absolutely.
wrestled. They just came out there and did promos that people loved and just rolled with it. So it's really exciting to see them back in the title picture, put the gold around their waist and see what they can do with it.
No doubt about that. And of course, Jon Moxley will defend the AEW Continental Championship against Will Ospreay. And I believe
Before you dive into it, do I
Okay.
have to buckle in for this? Do I have to buckle up?
you don't have to
put
buckle
on
in
my
for this
hard
as long
hat?
as Ospreay wins. You don't have to buckle in much. That'll be it. He better win this match.
Now-
We were on the road to Wembley. He better win this match.
I was thinking about this, doing research
Yeah.
for talking.
You know, it
about
has
this today.
rules. I want to make that
That-
clear. It
that was
has
my
rules.
point. I think with a Ospreay match here, I think Ospreay is willing to do the crazy stuff, but I think especially with him coming back, we're going to see a wrestling match.
I'm so glad.
And I don't think we're going to listen, it's got rules, but all it takes is one bump.
Of course.
And then all of a sudden, all rules are out the window.
Absolutely.
So I'm not saying we're not going to see any of that violence. We're not going to see any of that craziness or shenanigans, but it's not going to be the entire match.
Yep.
This is going to be a wrestling match. I'm sure that AEW is going to be careful
Yep.
with Ospreay, but I also think that Will Ospreay is the type of guy that he goes, I'm back when I'm 100%.
Absolutely.
I'm not coming back half-ass. I'm back, so I'm back 100%. And you're going to see
Absolutely.
Will Ospreay. So, okay, you say that there will be no need for a hard hat and me to put up a shield next episode if Ospreay wins.
Yes.
Do you think that's what's going
Yes,
to
I
happen?
do think that's what's going to
Okay,
happen because
why?
they're on the road to Wembley.
Okay.
It makes the most sense. They're on the road to Wembley.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think we're going to get a clash here because, again, I think even though we know somebody has thoughts on Jon Moxley,
Sure.
even I can say here that Will Ospreay can out wrestle Jon Moxley
Any day of the week.
any day of the week. Okay. And I think Jon Moxley would even say that.
Of
So I don't
course.
think I'm saying anything
Oh,
out,
no.
of character there. But what I am saying is that I think this is an opportunity for Jon Moxley to put a question of doubt in the head of naysayers like yourself.
Okay.
If you can hang with Ospreay and let Ospreay kind of drive this match, I think at the end, even taking the pin, you can get folks like you to go, okay, Jon Moxley, I see you.
Okay.
Will you be willing to at least watch this match with?
I'm watching it. I'm watching with an open mind. And speaking of which, Darby Allin is going to face Andrade. And if Darby wins, he will receive a future AEW championship match. Now, I'm going to say the next match, the main event is going to be MJF will defend the AEW World Heavyweight Championship against Kenny Omega, which fans will be disappointed. No, Kenny Omega's from Canada, but MJF is going to retain. I'm going to tell you why he's going to retain.
Okay.
Do you know where the next AEW event's going to be?
Where?
Double or Nothing. It's going to be in Queens, New York.
Okay.
So he's going to retain because MJF's from New York, and there's no way they're not going to have MJF on top.
Okay, well, here's my question, though. Here's the way that they can do that. He loses and then gets an automatic rematch there and wins it back there.
Well, would you have a triple threat match between Kenny Omega, Darby Allin, and MJF in New York, or is it just muddying up the waters?
Well, is that you saying that there is no way that Darby Allin is not going to win tonight?
I think Darby Allin's got to beat Andrade. Come on. I mean, the stipulation is he will receive a future world championship match if he wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think that there is a shot here that we may see something crazy.
I think Darby wins and MJF retains, and it goes Darby, MJF, main event of AEW Double or Nothing in New York. Darby versus MJF, biggest main event they can come up with. Because AEW Double or Nothing is a tentpole event. That is like their WrestleMania.
Okay.
Even though it doesn't feel like WrestleMania.
Okay. I think seeing MJF versus Kenny Omega, do you think that
it makes sense in Canada?
Okay, that was my point. Do you think that this makes sense as far as storyline, or are they doing this for the Canadian pop?
Do it for the Canadian crowd, but that's what you're doing it for. You're trying to draw a big house in Canada. You're going to put Chris Jericho on the card. You're going to put the Don Callis family on the card. You're going to put Edge and Christian. You're going to put Kenny Omega. Throw out all the bells and whistles. Why wouldn't you do that? If you're a smart businessman, you're going to do that. I don't have a problem with Kenny Omega in the main event of this particular show. Do I think he's going to walk out with the AEW World Championship, considering you have a pay-per-view next month, your biggest of the year in New York with MJF? No, MJF retains here.
Okay, so here's my other question about this. Is this a clean finish? Is this a dirty finish? Do we see some sort of twist here?
MJF makes all of his matches dirty, Tony.
Well, that is true, and that's kind of why I asked the question, because
I think it's probably a dirty finish some way. He'll use the diamond ring and beat Kenny Omega, and then if Darby wins earlier in the night, then he's going to come out and they're going to have that stare down, and there's the main event for AEW Double or Nothing.
Do you think that triple threat is the way to go? Or
no, I think it's just going to be one-on-one.
Out?
Just go one-on-one with it. Darby, MJF, they got a lot of history together, and that's going to headline New York, in my opinion.
I will tell you that I think that match has a lot of power behind it just from personality alone.
I agree with you.
Because I think both of those guys are 100% committed when they are in the ring.
Yes.
It is no... we're going to make sure we kind of give them a bit of a show.
Darby will go all out. He's committed to being reckless, but he's committed to it.
I mean, you've heard the stories. Like, there have been multiple stories that have come out from folks that will go unnamed in the AEW world that said that Darby Allin himself has presented ideas, and those ideas that he has presented had to been turned down by AEW officials because they were afraid he would die.
Yes.
This is a man who was suggesting that himself, which is absolutely incredible.
It's ludicrous.
I love it. So, because I don't love the fact that he's trying to die out there and do crazy things. I love the fact that he's willing to take those risks.
He's an unhinged Jeff Hardy.
He is,
but may not have the demons Hardy had.
I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Is he straight edge?
I believe he's straight edge.
Okay. I remember seeing that.
Yes.
Now, okay. Is there anything else that we need to know going into this AEW pay-per-view, or
nope.
does that pretty much cover it?
That covers it.
Okay, before we dive into anything WWE,
sure.
And obviously we are well onto the road to WrestleMania,
yes.
There was a story that went out
about
this was independent wrestling.
Yes.
And there was a reported stabbing. Did you see this
nope.
at all?
Nope.
So there was apparently a fan who took his keys in his hand and like got physical with a wrestler, and there was a stabbing. And then all of a sudden there was this big brawl and blah, blah, blah. Well, now it's coming out that there are some people that were at the event that they were saying that it was not real and it was all part of the show.
Okay.
When is too much, man?
In independent wrestling, I think independent wrestling, here's where it's too much. It's meant to be fun for the family. That's it.
Yeah.
And for wrestlers that want to get over, they can get over. That's the goal of independent wrestling. It's become way too far. I blame Brett Lauderdale. I blame a lot of those deathmatch goofs who have made independent wrestling, unfortunately, not fun for the family anymore. And that's sad because it should be. But every wrestler tries to push the limits, and this is an example of that.
Yeah, and I think that, and you know, I see no disrespect. I'm not talking bad about GCW or JCW or any of the other.
No, the point is that they push the limits, so every independent wrestling promotion is trying to follow it. Right.
Yeah, like you can do that, and hey, other indie shows. And to be honest with you, let's talk. You know, we're local here in St. Louis.
Right.
You know, by the way, big props to our sponsor here for Wrestling on the Spectrum, Brown and Crouppen, online at getbc.com. You know, locally here, Glory Pro Wrestling, like they do it right. That's a family show, man.
Absolutely.
I could take my 9-year-old son there and he's going to have the time of his life, and I'm not going to have to explain it.
Exactly.
You know, but there are some shows that try to do the GCW, the JCW, the craziness. Let them do that. They do that correctly and they market it to the right people for the right reasons. You don't have to, as a small indie show, get light tubes out and throw people into the ceiling
Or
tiles.
stab them with keys if it really was a work.
You don't have to do that. And it's one of those things where it really does bleed into reality, like news.
I bet it was. Independent wrestling gets talked about more in the news in the last calendar year than anything else.
It's bad for business, man. Especially because now people think like, oh, that's all that pro wrestling is. The local shows are just backyard wrestling. No, man, long way from that. A very long way from that. So I was interested to get your thoughts on that. But it looks like we're starting to see the WWE WrestleMania card build. And one of the questions I had for you was, as it stands right now, are we excited about
I'm very excited about WrestleMania. I am excited about WrestleMania. I mean, there's a lot of things that happened. Did anybody see this match last night? I mean, Royce Keys at his first match on SmackDown defeated Humberto Carrillo. Big, powerful match. Would have thought it would have been on the Raw after WrestleMania if you're going to debut him. Why is it on a random SmackDown?
Yeah.
Anything else? Thought it was great. Powerful match. Got him over. He's just kind of lost in the shuffle. Now, the bigger debut match. The thing that really disappointed me the most on this show. Danhausen versus Kit Wilson. Everything about it was awful from the start. This did no more than 3 minutes, which is fine. I didn't feel like he got himself over Danhausen. It wasn't the best reflection. Because think about this. There's no reason Kit Wilson's on the top rope. And then Danhausen does the thing where he curses. It's special effects and pyro that The Undertaker has done for years. And for the WWE audience, they're like, what? We've seen that already. It was like a fart in church.
I did not watch this match live. I watched it on clips.
Yeah.
And I do that a lot on Twitter the next day or X or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I watch the clips, and dude, I'm just telling you, and this is just, he doesn't need to do that. We don't need to involve the pyro. The whole curse thing and, the ref with his arm, like that's all funny.
It's funny.
But when it becomes the pyro, when you start to get the fireworks that shoot up, when you start to get all this stuff, man.
And then he just falls off the top rope and he hits no big move. We wanted to see Danhausen go up on the top rope and hit a big move. It's your job to get yourself over. I understand Kit Wilson also has to get you over. That's his role in this company, is to be a job guy. Listen, there are guys like Iron Mike Sharp who had tremendous physiques that served as job guys for years. George South, I can tell you that I can name them all. They're great job guys. That's what your job is, Kit, is to get other wrestlers over. You didn't achieve that here. And not only that, Danhausen.
Not on Danhausen.
I also blame on Danhausen too, because he also had an obligation to get himself over.
Okay, so it's not.
It's on both
Kit
of them.
Wilson. Okay,
this could have been so much better. Danhausen, what we needed was a barrage of moves. Then you curse him, hit the finisher, win. You just gave us all of your repertoire. Okay, I like Danhausen. Now I'm getting behind him more in the ring. And instead it was just whoop, pyro, whoop, a kick, whoop. I cursed like 5 times and it's over. And it just happened. It was so short and everyone was like, really? That was it? That was it? This guy that we've been seeing in backstage segments for weeks? And now all we get was pyro and a kick? Really? That's not what you should have done.
I think anybody...
Where was the teeth? I want to see teeth.
Anybody under the age of 13 thought that was great. Anybody over the age of 13 went, what the hell? Come on, man.
And I don't mind it being Kit Wilson. That's fine. Give him a job guy. Get him dominant. Get him over. That's your job as a company, to get Danhausen over. I have zero problem with it. It just didn't feel like we got much out of it. All we got out of it was, all anybody remembers is a silly spot. Yeah. Instead of Danhausen's moves that people should remember, instead it's just some silly spot with pyro that people remember, and it just didn't get him over.
See, and this was my fear with Danhausen joining WWE. Because, again, you said it was on Danhausen.
Yes.
Which I think, so far, it has been on Danhausen, and it succeeded. Now, do you think Danhausen goes to him and go, oh, and I curse him and pyro shoots behind him? No. That's a WWE written in thing. And that's where they're going to try and start forcing things. They go, oh, this is working. Now we can get behind it. And then all of a sudden you start to see this silly stuff.
That's when you start seeing them overdo it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't want to overdo it. Just keep it where it was. Do the cursing thing. Have something happen. The Miz is walking in. See, this is where you could have done it. He curses the Miz, okay?
And he has no program scheduled for WrestleMania, not to mention.
Yeah, there's nothing involving him. So let's say he curses the Miz at some point. And then you can do a series of Final Destination, almost close calls with the Miz. And then all of a sudden him like, woo. And then literally right before or at Mania, something happens to the Miz. You know, like you can write this to where it's really good. But unfortunately, I just think that I just hope that this is not the moment where Danhausen, it's gone now.
No, I don't think it's gone. I think they're going to have a couple more of these weird squash matches to try to get him over. That's their job.
Well, you got another opportunity. Don't waste it.
Right. WrestleMania. I would have Danhausen and the Miz should just put over Danhausen like $1 million. You're better and get him over.
So do you think somebody like Danhausen would be good in a segment at WrestleMania, whether it be...
I wish it was more in a match.
With a celebrity, though. Don't you think Danhausen would be the right guy? He
needs to win matches. The goal now, I think, for them is let's have him win matches. Because, they had a tweet, Danhausen 1-0. He needs to win matches. That's the goal. Like, okay, we know him as a character now. He appears backstage. We've seen enough of those already. Now he's got to go in there and actually live up to what he says.
If they did Danhausen 1-0, do you think it would be funny is if they kind of played on the streak?
I think it would be great.
Where next week
I think that's great.
He's 38 now.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's having beat somebody else.
Then you can have shirts that say Streakhausen.
I think it's great.
Oh, dude, that would be hilarious.
I think it's great.
I would buy a Streakhausen.
That's how you get him over, though.
Yeah, like all of a sudden on SmackDown, he's 1-0. On Raw, he's 140.
I'm just glad he didn't lose his first match. That's the only good thing about it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Danhausen just didn't lose.
Yeah,
I'm just glad. Oh, then this is completely over.
Okay, so I mentioned, Danhausen with a celebrity, I think in a backstage segment.
Oh, speaking of which, the celebrity pollination on this platform has gotten a lot. What is going on here?
WWE loves celebrities. I mean, listen, and if you really look back to Mania, like that was the idea of it back in the day.
Yeah.
It was the combination of your celebrities and pro wrestling. Let's marry them together, and that's WrestleMania.
All right.
We are definitely. It has gone away.
Let me tell you this, and this one really bothered me. Why is CM Punk and Pat McAfee against each other? So wait a minute. So Pat McAfee cuts a promo on SmackDown like he's the wrestling historian. I'm the wrestling traditionalist. These values of wrestling for so long have been held sacred, and I want to hold the traditions of wrestling near and dear to my heart, and they're sacred to me. Who's the biggest wrestling traditionalist than CM Punk? Why are they against each other? This is the guy that literally had problems in AEW because he's a wrestling traditionalist. Why is a wrestling traditionalist going up against a wrestling traditionalist?
I don't
get it.
I don't get it. Why is he even talking about him in the first place?
Why is he talking about him in the first place? Why is he now inserting himself in both main events? When does that ever happen when a celebrity has inserted themselves in both main events of WrestleMania?
So, you're using the term celebrity when you're talking about Pat McAfee, but this is an employee, man. Like, he is so ingrained into TKO. He's so ingrained into WWE. And I mean, okay.
When has a celebrity ever been involved in both main events of WrestleMania on 2 separate nights?
When has WWE ever had anybody talk about how they were discounting tickets? Never. Like, what are we like? Is ticket sales that bad for this show right now?
I think what they were doing was, well, we're going to do these worksheet promos, and Pat McAfee's going to sound like Jim Cornette, and he's going to go out there and he's going to talk about how great things used to be in wrestling and how bad things in wrestling are now. And I'm like, it would have been great in AEW. He's sitting there and say, well, there are 2 5'5" guys having a 40-minute match. That's on AEW. So now you're trying to speak for the WWE snob all of a sudden, but really you're speaking for the WWE wrestling traditional.
It's insane to me. And Ryan, I saw you posted the clip on the socials, which, by the way, all the socials are posted right below us here.
Absolutely.
Make sure you're following us on those socials. Ryan, you posted the clip of me talking about the fact that I love Pat McAfee, but I don't love him here. And guess what? It looks like a lot of the WWE universe was.
Why is he in both main events? He not only involved himself in Cody and Randy, but now he's involved with Punk and Roman. I'm completely distracted of Roman. Now it's all about Punk and McAfee.
Does the Punk Reigns match kind of feel like it's not getting a whole lot of love?
No, because you got Cody and Randy fighting for the real title, which is why I hate them having 2 world titles, because the Cody and Randy belt just means more. It's a title Bruno Sammartino hold, and fans in their heads think that that's a more prestigious title, and that's why Roman and Punk are just not getting any shine, because Roman's not really around and Punk's just talking about Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I know. It's very strange. It's very weird. I do want to say that I think it is very, very awesome what ESPN is doing.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I think they're going to air Brock and Oba on the main network.
So both nights. They're doing both nights. They're doing the first hour of WrestleMania. So night number 1, I think that they're going to show the I Show Speed, Logan Paul, what is that, Austin Theory match? That match will be shown.
We got to talk about that for a second. Hold on.
And-
Before we
Okay,
before
go
we
ahead,
go
go
over
ahead.
that. No. Before we go over that. So Paul Heyman and Gunther are now interacting. It's like Heyman's not even involved with the Vision anymore. It just randomly
Where did
changed.
that go? Is that over? Is it over?
I don't know.
Vision just logo
Yeah,
down.
like it's just completely dissipated. And now Paul Heyman and Gunther having a backstage. I admit I was wrong on that. And now Paul Heyman owes Gunther a favor. Now that favor is probably going to be Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Here's Lesnar on a silver platter. I owe you. You've done me a favor. Now I owe you a favor. The Heyman favor thing
Career
all over
killer.
again.
Career killer.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they're calling him now?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're calling Gunther the career killer.
So he beats Rollins at Mania, and then the favor that Heyman has. Now this whole favor thing. This is so recycled because
Or
they
what
did
if
it in the
favor-
past.
What if the favor is Braun Breaker? No, Braun Breaker.
No, the favor
What
has
if
to be
it-
either a world title match or Brock.
Okay, what if Brock comes down and messes up Seth at some point during this match at Mania?
I don't think it matters because if you're Gunther, I think this builds to SummerSlam where
Okay.
you owe me and I want Brock.
Yeah.
You're Brock's
I think that's
advocate,
great. I mean,
and I think Heyman and Lesnar, if you're going to retire Brock, he has to have Heyman alongside him and just retire him in Minneapolis.
Yeah,
where he wrestled in
listen up,
college.
WWE, because that's the way to write that story.
That's the way to go.
That's the way to write that story. So night one, ESPN 2
Yep.
for free. They are going to air the first hour, both night 1 and night 2 on ESPN. ESPN 2. So we will get Logan Paul, I Show Speed,
Yes.
and Austin Theory
Yes.
versus who?
LA Knight and the Usos.
LA Knight and the Usos. Great. That's going to be a match. I
Of
don't know.
course.
It's going to be
It's
a
just
match.
there all of a sudden.
But we're also going to get Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu.
That's
For
awesome.
free on ESPN 2, night number
unsanctioned.
1. I think it's going to be great. If there is one match that you want to show, they're doing it
I think
right.
whoever wins this match fights for the title at SummerSlam if it's Jacob or Drew.
They're doing it right. Here's the celebrity match, and here is also this match where it's going to be brutal, and this is going to be a really cool WWE wrestling match.
Yep.
So I really love that. I think that's great. Night number 2, we're getting Brock and Oba, which
Yep.
I think you want to start. You want
You know what, Tony? One
put
of
your
the
best
things.
foot forward, and they're doing it.
Yeah, apparently everyone's so excited that Brock's putting somebody over for once. Have you ever seen a crowd get so excited? It's like, oh my gosh, Brock is putting somebody over.
Yeah,
this is exciting.
Because it's also, and I think the reason that we like it so much is because previously, while we wanted to see Brock put people over, it was still a little unbelievable because he was Brock freaking Lesnar. When it comes to Oba, I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. There's
Yep.
a shot here. And I'll tell you what, WWE is doing the right thing because I see professional athletes across my social
Yes.
media doing the Oba, coming out, doing all of his stuff. And I'm like, roll with it, guys. They know what's happening right now.
Sure.
They foresee what's going down right now. Go with it. And if you want to accelerate Oba and put him in a place where people believe that he is the top of the top, beating Brock Lesnar is the way to go.
Absolutely.
Do you think Oba beats him?
Yes. Not even a doubt. I've had this planned out in my mind of what it needs to be. Brock suplexes him maybe once or twice, maybe even hits the Kimura, comes out of it, and Brock hits the F5. But as soon as Oba kicks out of the F5, the crowd goes nuts. Oh my gosh! And then Oba hits his few big moves on Brock. 1, 2, 3. And it's over and it ends in 5 minutes and all it
That's
needs
it.
to be.
Dude, that's it. I said this match is going to rule if they don't try and make it a 20-minute match.
Oh, thank God. I don't want to see a Broadway.
No. What I want to see is I want to see two monsters beat the hell out of each other for 5 minutes.
Yep.
That's what I want to see. I'll even give it, you know what? This match in total should be 15 minutes, and 8 of those should be entrances.
Yep.
You know, and then do a
Absolutely.
7-minute
15-minute block.
Yeah, and I think it would be perfect. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure what the second match that we're going to get on night 2 is.
I don't know either, but
I don't know, but
whatever it's going to be.
I saw those matches, and I'm very, very excited about that. So, Brody, before we talk about some celebrity involvement,
Sure.
because we got Jelly Roll back.
Yeah,
in
it's
there,
littered
you
all
know.
over the place.
So here's what I want to do. I just want to run through the card. We don't have to talk about the
Okay.
matches. but I
Predictions
just
will be
wanna
next
run
week
through.
officially, so
Yep,
don't hold us to it.
I just want to run through with how the card's shaping up right now for night 1 and night 2. I have it here if you want me to run through it.
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
Okay, so the main event for night 1 is Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. We know that. We
Yeah,
also
That's
have
odd, but okay.
we also have Stephanie Vacour and Liv Morgan. Okay.
Yep.
We have AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch.
That's a great match. Underrated. I want to see that.
I'm excited for that. Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu.
Yep.
Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio.
Yep.
And then it says that there's, that match between
A
Logan
fatal
Paul
four-way
and
tag
whatever
team
that
match
is.
for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship that literally is no buzz.
Yep. And then you have on night number 2, CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. We know that. Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley, Lesnar versus Oba. We also have Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams, and we have that Intercontinental Championship
By the way,
ladder match.
best thing on SmackDown 2 weeks ago, Trick Williams and Lil Yachty. That's a great pairing, but go on.
Okay. Do we see anything like that at WrestleMania?
I
Do you think Trick Williams comes out celebbed out?
Oh, I think he does. I cannot wait. I love his pairing with Lil Yachty. Lil Yachty's been entertaining. I can't lie.
It fits his
That's
character.
the only celebrity one that I actually agree with. right
Yeah.
now.
Okay, so let's talk about the celebrities that
Okay.
are involved. You know, there's plenty in here.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you could talk about, again, we mentioned iShowSpeed
Yes.
and getting involved with LA Knight last week. I thought that was incredible. Smart move by WWE to incorporate themselves into iShowSpeed.
So we got iShowSpeed, Jelly Roll, Pat McAfee, and Lil Yachty.
Pat McAfee. Do you again, I think that's a tough name to throw in the
I
celebrity
think he's
role.
an employee, but he's in that realm of
Okay.
celebrity-esque.
Okay, I think they treat him like
yeah,
a celebrity.
they treat him like a celebrity.
Okay, perfect.
Like an
Now,
A-lister.
here's another question I have. Have they made the announcement yet of like who's going to do the anthem, who's going to do God Bless America?
Oh, I'm sure they'll do something.
Because, you know, that's another opportunity for them to load in
Load
celebrities.
up celebrities.
If you really want to say it, John Cena is another
Yeah,
celebrity.
he's the host of WrestleMania.
You know, so they've involved him as well. So I know we'll probably see Lil Yachty there. My question is, when does the celebrity factor become too ingrained into wrestling? Because clearly it is. Pat McAfee.
They're trying to
too
make it
ingrained.
more mainstream. ESPN's trying to make it as much mainstream as possible, but
Is
it's
this
everywhere.
better or worse for the business?
Makes
or
the
do you
business
think-
more money, so it has to be better.
I was going to say, or do you think it makes me as a wrestling fan from back then go turn into that old grumpy get off my lawn man?
But they're making more money than ever. So how could it be that bad for the business?
Well, because I don't care how much money they make. What I care about is putting on.
I know that's
on
what
the
you
TV.
care about, but that's what they see. We see the priorities are different.
I know. From a business side of things, that's great. But don't you think also it's kind of a double-edged sword? Because if I stop watching, then that means
But
probably my
stopped-
son is going
Who
to
has
stop
stopped
watching.
watching
I'm
wrestling
not.
because of a celebrity?
I'm not. I'm never going to. But there are people out there.
No,
or at least
besides
I
the Howard
see-
Stern skit from the 90s, when are people going to stop watching wrestling because of it?
Dude, I'm telling you though, but I follow a bunch of people on the internet wrestling community, and there are people that are like, this is ruining wrestling.
It's not ruining wrestling.
I think that's a very vague statement when people say it. I think it holds, no
No.
weight.
I'll tell you what really ruins wrestling. It's not this. It's what you said earlier. It's deathmatch stuff. That ruins wrestling because that causes advertisers to say, nope, I want to be involved in this. That's when celebrities say, nope, I'm not doing that. That hurts the business more.
But again, you're looking at it from the business side there, because you said that's when advertisers start calling. Do you care if Slim Jim's advertises on WWE SmackDown or not? You
I don't
personally?
care, but
No,
they do.
They do on the business side of things.
Yes.
The people that are online that are talking about this is ruining wrestling, they're talking about the product that is on television. That's how they're saying that this ruins wrestling. Those are probably the same people that if they saw a death match, they probably wouldn't care, because they're people like me that grew up watching hardcore matches on WWE
Mhm.
where it wasn't
It's nothing
as
like
extreme as
this.
that, but it was still pretty wild, man.
It is wild.
It's the ECW crowd where they're throwing people off of 30-foot scaffolds. Like, those people are watching this going, I don't need an ESPN talking head trying to make this onto his show, onto Sports Center, onto ESPN News. I want a wrestling match. And I believed Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. And now I'm getting this. And now I'm getting Pat McAfee. That's where they're saying this is ruining wrestling.
Okay, you could say, why is a celebrity cross-pollinating between both main event matches? You could argue that. I don't think it hurts the Cody-Randy match, because as long as Pat McAfee doesn't get that much physically involved, it's still Cody and Randy.
Now, have you heard the rumors of the already planned main event for Backlash?
Yeah, it's apparently going to be Cody Rhodes and Jelly Roll versus Randy Orton and Pat McAfee, so even more celebrities. And by the way, that means Randy may win the title. And not only that, it's just, we're not even going to have a title match at the main event of Backlash. That hurts it more, because if you're not going to have a title match at the main event of Backlash, it's click. I don't get why they would do that. That doesn't make any sense. That hurts it. But what is that? Backlash? That's one pay-per-view, and they're going to try to give Jelly Roll a match because they're not giving him a match at WrestleMania?
I thought it was
guess.
storyline written for celebrity.
It is.
Like, that match is a storyline written for
Do
celebrity.
you know there's a main event of WrestleMania that once had a celebrity in it?
Lawrence Taylor.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
That's insane.
Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow.
That was real.
Was after the title match.
Yes.
Silly.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, we're now writing, and you want to write an angle with a celebrity involved, fine. but we're doing it with the main title.
That's what I'm saying. It's
We're
the big
doing it
boy.
with the championship.
Yes, we are.
Like there are so
The
many
main two
opportunities.
championships, by the way.
Which I mean, dude, like again, I'm not gonna not watch it. Okay, I'm
Right.
not that guy. I'm not one of those people that are gonna do it. But I do look at this and I go, you can involve celebrities, but don't write them into the main title picture.
I agree with that.
It's wild.
They didn't put
to me.
Lawrence Taylor in the main title picture. They did with Mike Tyson, though.
That made sense.
It did make sense.
Do you think Mike Tyson and Jelly Roll have the same
No,
clout
because
that they
Mike
did,
Tyson was the
especially at that time?
baddest man on the planet, and
Right.
Jelly Roll's just a guy with tattoos on his face.
Yeah, he's a country singer,
Yeah.
rapper, rock guy, entertainer guy.
Yeah,
And guess what? He's pretty good celebrity involvement.
it is.
But I don't need it at the main event in WrestleMania.
no, I don't either.
I don't need that
That's
at
why I
all.
like the Lil Yachty one. It's in the U.S. title. It makes it a little
Cool.
bit more
Right,
sense.
exactly. I don't
Cool.
mind it.
It's
It
on a
makes Trick
workhorse-
cooler.
It's on a workhorse title that had no storyline for 6 months anyway.
Agreed.
Who cares? But it's the big
Love it.
boy. That's what I
I
like.
agree.
Absolutely love it. And here's the other thing that I want to bring up is remember the last time that a celebrity was written in to the main event title picture and that was displayed at WrestleMania? Does anybody remember when that was? Oh yeah, it was a gentleman by the name of Travis Scott.
That's
and we all
tough.
see how that planned
yeah.
out. You know, that was
goofy.
that poor
The
poorly
fact that
planned.
anybody even remembers that, I more remember John Cena winning 17
right,
than I do Travis Scott.
right.
I'm just glad The Rock's not around. That's all I care about.
Don't say that too early.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
If you say it, if you say
No,
his name
I
three
know.
times,
It's like
I
Joe
think he
Hendry.
appears.
Say his name and he
You never
appears.
know when the final boss may
Oh,
show up, man.
I know
God,
because people are
no.
talking about he said 3 names and then all of a sudden I'm like, just let him go be Moana in real life.
Oh,
Like he's doing Moana stuff. Go Moana with him right now.
oh. Keep
But-
The Rock off of this.
My question for you is, Brody, and I think we could talk about this, you know, for a while
Of
here
course.
because I know I wrote down some of my personal quote unquote
Okay.
favorites. Travis Scott has probably got to be up there for one of the biggest botches, drops, misses, and flubs in WrestleMania history.
Yep.
I mean, without question, he showed up, he got involved, and literally disappeared. Never to be
Yep.
mentioned again, disappeared. After the biggest show that WWE has, during the biggest match that has probably ever been involved,
Yes.
disappears. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Big old miss there. Is there any events?
Oh, I got a
moments,
list of
ma-
10.
Oh, I love a list of 10, especially because I have my own list and I want to see how many that we have
Okay,
on both of our
Well,
lists.
should I go
here,
with the
okay?
biggest flub first, or should we build? I guess I'll build to
You-
one
you-
of them.
Yeah, you do what you want here because I'm sure we're all going to have comments on these.
God,
Wait, my bad. Somebody in the comments said WrestleMania is cooked. Creative dropped the ball.
See, and that's why I said at the
Maybe.
very beginning of this show, I said, do you think that are people excited for this show? And you said you're very excited.
Yep.
I didn't get a chance to share my opinion. I'm mildly excited. There are a couple match that will listen, it's WrestleMania. I'm going to watch it no matter what. Okay.
Not
That's
every
just how
match
it
is going to
is.
be a main event match, though.
I agree with you there. I agree with you. I'm mildly excited right
Okay.
now. And I think that's okay.
That's fine.
I think that's okay. So, all right, Brody, biggest flubs, biggest drops and misses in WrestleMania history. Give me the first one that you have on your list.
I would say WrestleMania 2000 Fatal 4-Way. Too many people in the main event of WrestleMania should have just been Triple H and The Rock, but instead we got a 4-way and Triple H retained. Nothing happened.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Nothing
I didn't
memorable.
include that on my list because I know that WrestleMania 2000, the main event, is considered one of the most main
Yeah.
events
Oh, yeah.
in WWE WrestleMania
Yes.
history. So I knew that was going to be on your list as far as a creative drop.
Yep.
That was 100% a creative drop.
Should have
It
just been
wasn't-
Triple H and The Rock.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100% there. Yep. What else do you have on your list?
I have It's not going to be the most popular one. WrestleMania 10 having 2 title matches on one show that didn't make any sense. You could have eliminated the Lex Luger Yokozuna match. Didn't need it.
Yeah. I think for me, I think one of those was Hogan winning the belt at what was that? Mania.
Oh, is this WrestleMania 9 that we're going to talk about here at Caesars?
Oh, is that you have that
Oh,
on
I
your
have
list?
that on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. I think that one to me is the biggest, like one of the bigger, like, come on.
Yeah. So Yokozuna defeated Lex Luger by disqualification with Mr. Perfect as the guest referee earlier in the night. So everybody knew the main event was going to happen next. And then Bret Hart defeated Yokozuna with Roddy Piper as the guest referee.
Unbelievable.
On
I
one
think,
card.
Which is crazy. Where's that at on your list? Where?
It's not the highest, but
Yeah.
it's in there.
All right, what's next on yours?
The next one's got to be WrestleMania 11 with Bam Bam Bigelow, Lawrence Taylor, and not a single match on that show was memorable, even the card below it either.
Yeah, and I think that might have a
that
different
led to
spot.
water coolers being removed from Titan Tower.
I do remember that, but I do also I think that if that match is not the main event and it's earlier in the card, I think people look at that Mania a little bit different. But I think because it was the main event, I think people just kind of look at that Mania.
The world title
match
match was Diesel just beating Shawn Michaels to retain the title.
Which again, that was just a okay.
Yeah, and
Like-
Bret Hart defeated Bob Backlund. I Quit match with Roddy Piper as the special guest referee again.
Weird. Can I tell you one of mine?
Yes,
that
please
I
do.
think,
Please do.
I put WrestleMania 36 Goldberg versus The Fiend. I
That
think,
was bizarre. Why is Bray Wyatt even in the ring with Goldberg?
and now you're gonna kill this massive.
No, what
momentum.
did it even worse though was Wyatt when he won the title in 17 from Cena, and then he immediately loses it to Orton at WrestleMania 33.
Yeah, that didn't make sense
that didn't
either.
make
Not
sense
to
at all.
mention, they had no buzz on that match, and then WWE last minute changes the main event, and they put Roman Reigns and Undertaker last because they thought, oh wait, Orton and Wyatt isn't going to get it done, so let's stick Roman. No title at all, no build.
Yep.
Just going to lay it out there. And by the way, Roman won that match.
He did win that match.
Yes, he did.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Quick question.
Yeah.
I got a casual question. What is the Brawl for All?
That
event?
is not a WrestleMania flub, but that was
That is
a
a
Vince
giant
Russo.
that is a giant WWE flub. So Ryan, back in the day, what they did was they took wrestlers and they picked a wrestler, they put him in a bracket style tournament,
Mhm.
put boxing gloves on them, and said, "Get in the ring and punch each other." And it
That's
was
true.
real.
Yes, it
It
was.
ended the career of a bunch of people. A bunch of people got extremely hurt. They're saying it's like the downfall and potentially
Of Dr.
the
Death Steve
death
Williams.
of Dr. Death Steve Williams.
It wasn't the WWE. That's the Vince Russo idea right there. That should be an entire show of biggest Vince Russo flubs. That's got to be number one on the list.
We could definitely talk about that. Now, I
Wow.
have a WrestleMania flop, miss, whatever you want
Sure.
to call it.
Go
that
ahead.
has nothing to do with wrestling.
Okay.
And it is the WrestleMania where Kid Rock performed. And it was damn near a Kid Rock commercial. And it was it just went on way too long.
What
I just
WrestleMania was
remember,
that at?
It might have been like 25, somewhere around there. But it was one of those things where watching it, I went, I understand it because it was like the American Badass Undertaker, all that whole thing.
Yeah.
But it almost felt like it was like Kid Rock brings you WrestleMania.
It was bad.
Too much celebrity, and I think that's another instance where it gets too clouded and it gets a little too much.
Yeah.
This was written for the celebrity as far as instead of involving the celebrity inside of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
What else do you got on your list, Brody?
Oh my. Well, I'm not going to go number one yet. But
Okay.
WrestleMania 9, I would say. Remember the spontaneous, what was it, Hogan, Yokozuna, Bret Hart thing where Yokozuna beats Bret Hart, and then Hogan for no reason comes out and just takes the belt away from Yokozuna in 22 seconds in an impromptu match, which has never happened in wrestling before or since.
Yeah, and which remember this was Hogan.
Pre-Money in the Bank. It was just impromptu.
Yeah, and this was Hogan with the bloodied eye from
Yes.
getting in the jet ski accident.
Yes.
You know, so it's like this was, and if you, I'm sure you've watched the
Oh,
documentary on
absolutely.
Peacock.
Yes.
That if you haven't watched that documentary about WrestleMania 9 on Peacock at Caesars, it's a must watch.
Yeah.
It is a must watch. It shows you behind the
Everyone
scenes.
was so stressed.
It was the first time they ever had like documentary crews filming WWE
Yeah.
behind the scenes stuff. And it was wild. It's insane. And to just hear leading up to it, I mean, you have Hulk Hogan, the face of your company, nowhere around with like very little time to go.
Yep.
And it's he shows up and he comes up with this crazy story about a jet ski accident. He's got broken bones in his face. Dude, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. But yes, I think that was a giant flub. And it was almost like they went, we don't believe in you. We don't believe in you. Hogan, you're back. You do it, buddy. Here you go. And that was it. And it
Oh
was
my God.
very, very weird.
Oh,
Here's another one that I think could go either way.
okay.
Miz versus Cena.
Yes, that was number 2 on my list.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Okay,
The Rock
see-
shows up, and nobody remembered the fact that The Miz had just retained the belt from Cena and was going to be Miz's WrestleMania moment stolen by The Rock.
And I think that was one of
He's
the
stealing a lot, man.
Oh, he stole that WrestleMania right away from The Miz.
they had the opportunity to really build.
They didn't
you
need The
could've-
Rock there.
You could have inserted The Rock down the road. You don't need him. And they, for a while there, they loved to go to The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
And guess
They still
what?
do.
Yeah.
Let's.
No, I think
stop
he still
that.
do.
I think he
I
loves
think he
doing
still,
that.
I think he loves it more than
I think
anybody
he
else.
does. I think he does.
Obviously, number one on my WrestleMania flops, WrestleMania 4. I mean, the Tournament of Champions, Hogan and Andre beginning of the night, double disqualification. That was absolutely rough. And of course, a crowning moment for Randy Savage. It was an entire tournament to crown a new champion. So it starts off, double disqualification, Andre and Hogan. So a new champion is crowned since Andre had just won the belt from Hogan in February of 1988 on Saturday night's main event at Indianapolis in the Market Square Arena. And the thing about it is, it's like we didn't want to see the titles change that quickly. And it was a crowning moment for Savage. And by the way, most people weren't even watching because they were watching on TBS and Sting and Flair having a draw on Clash of Champions.
Yeah.
That probably is one of the reasons why Turner bought Crockett in 1988. And it's probably one of the reasons why we're in the war that we had.
See, and that is fascinating to me because you dove into history. And that's why you picked it as the biggest flub.
Yeah.
You want to know what mine is?
What?
The Undertaker losing the streak.
Facts.
I think to this day, man.
I know.
To this day, I think if there is one person.
If he had lost the streak to Roman, would it have been different comparably to Brock?
The streak should have never ended. The streak should have never ended. If there is one person that you want to make the guy to have an unbeatable streak, which it probably is now, 20-0 or 21-0 or whatever it is probably an unbeatable WrestleMania streak. No one's going to come close to it.
Right.
But why not just?
Do you know what helps your argument? What do you remember the most from WrestleMania 13?
I don't know. I'd have to think about WrestleMania 13.
It's Austin and Brett, by the way. I don't even have to help you. Okay.
Yeah. I'm more of a
do you know what the main
guy.
Do you know what the WrestleMania main event of that show was?
Was Sid Vicious involved?
It was Taker beating Sid for the title. That was Undertaker's crowning moment. Was at that WrestleMania.
Oh,
no one remembered
when that started. That was
when they not when the streak started, but when they gave him the title.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's when they kind of anointed Taker.
That's when they anointed Taker as the guy.
I don't remember that.
See, that's the point.
Stone Cold passing out.
See, people remember the streak more than that moment. See, with Undertaker, it's the streak. People remember moments. You remember Daniel Bryan winning the title WrestleMania 30. You remember Kofi Kingston WrestleMania 35. You remember John Cena WrestleMania 21. Every guy has a crowning moment at a WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar WrestleMania 19, I believe. Everybody has a crowning moment at WrestleMania. Taker's was the streak. The streak outweighed his crowning moment. It really did. I mean, if you look at Austin WrestleMania 14, there's another one. And of course, Hogan WrestleMania 1, you could argue WrestleMania 3. But when it came to Taker, his crowning moment, the streak outweighed his big WrestleMania moment, and it outweighed it.
So if you would say to somebody, hey, or somebody would ask you the question, what is Undertaker's WrestleMania moment?
It's a streak.
You would say it's the streak. Just the fact that
he never lost at WrestleMania is what people remember more.
When did they start talking about this?
2000, I would say 2006 when he first beat Mark Henry. Then the streak became a big deal because he started to win more matches, and it started to become bigger than his world title reigns. Like, people cared more about the streak than any time he won the title, in my opinion.
I think so, because, I mean,
too.
Guys, we literally watched, The Undertaker wrestle once a year for what? 5-6 years?
Yeah.
Literally.
And everybody was A-okay with it. You knew that after the first of the year, at some point, the arena was going to go dark and you were going to hear the bell, and you immediately got excited because you knew Mania Taker was
now,
coming.
in fairness, Taker won the title for the first time in Survivor Series 1991. He defeated Hulk Hogan. That was a crowning moment, but not at WrestleMania, though.
Yeah, I'm talking about this is when they said, this is the guy, this is Mr. WrestleMania now, and I know that's not his actual nickname, but this is the guy that we're putting all of our eggs in his basket. And I think I think that's a great point, that the streak is the Undertaker's defining WrestleMania moment.
And that helps your argument.
Here's mine. I certainly didn't take this from a comment or anything because I know so much. Austin versus Hall, pretty pointless.
Oh boy. The
WrestleMania 18 was an interesting one because that's another one where nobody remembers the main event. It was more Hogan Rock.
What the hell was the main event? I thought that was
Jericho and Triple H for the title.
See, that is
there was no build really for Hogan and Rock, and then all of a sudden it actually happened in the ring where people turned on the Rock and cheered Hogan. So then that NWO thing went completely up in smoke.
Would you think that that match is one of the defining moments of the WWE universe dictating what happens?
Yes, because in that moment it was okay. Triple H and Chris Jericho didn't. Do you know that he won the title? Triple H won the title from Chris at WrestleMania, and he had just come back from the injury at Madison Square Garden that January from a torn quad.
Okay, yeah.
And then he comes back and he builds to WrestleMania and he beats Jericho and it completes that story. The Hogan Rock story wasn't even the top story going into Mania. It's just two icons going at each other, but the fans cared about that match more than they cared about the main event.
I think that is the WWE.
That's rare, though. You can't come up with that any other way.
No, and I think this is the WWE universe. This is people like me going, Rock versus Hogan. That's what I care about.
Rock defeated Hogan in that match, by the way.
Who cares about storyline? I want to watch Rock versus Hogan.
Exactly.
They could have never even looked at each other before that match, and I still would have been most interested in it.
Because there's two icons in the business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, dude, we are on our way to the road to WrestleMania, and I cannot wait. Next weekend, it is here. It is officially the preview show for WrestleMania. 2 nights coming up next weekend on ESPN Plus. Very excited.
We're going to start at
about
10
that.
o'clock a.m. next week, correct, Ryan? We're going to have a 2-hour special
we can
because
do
it's
that.
going to be a very long show as we are going to give our predictions for both nights of WrestleMania, night 1 and night 2, right here on Wrestling on the Spectrum next week. It's going to be a 10 o'clock a.m. start time. A absolutely loaded WrestleMania show.
Yep, absolutely. And we'll be putting out reminders on the socials. So please, we encourage you to follow us on X. We are Wrestling OTS. And on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, it's at Wrestling on the Spectrum. For Flying Ryan Swingler, for Brody the Brain Herman, this has been Wrestling on the Spectrum, brought to you by Brown and Crouppen online, getbc.com. We will talk to you guys next week for our WrestleMania preview show. This was Wrestling on the Spectrum.